Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the iBUG Buzz for April 11, 2022. This is episode number 529. My name is Brad Snyder, and along with Sandhya Rao, we are your co-hosts for tonight's presentation. The iBUG Buzz is an open forum where we discuss all things in the iOS world. That includes hardware such as your iPhone, the iPad, iPod Touch. We'll even talk about the Apple Watch and maybe even the Apple TV. We talk about apps and hardware for these devices, but we do keep it within the iOS universe. This call is being recorded and will be available in a podcast form that can be accessed via the iBUG Today website. You can also find the iBUG Buzz podcast on the podcast player of your choice. And we talked about those yesterday, it seems like, during the iBUG Cafe. You can find it by searching for iBUG Buzz in your favorite podcast catcher. You will also able to access the iBUG Buzz podcast on your favorite smart speaker. Just ask your speaker to play the iBUG Buzz podcast. Let's see. As I mentioned, this call is being recorded. So to help us get as clean a recording as possible, we ask that everybody stay on mute unless you are speaking. When you are ready to speak, if you'll say your name and wait to be called upon. As a review, if you're joining us on a smartphone app, you will find a button in the lower left corner of the Zoom app screen that will say mute or unmute. It's a toggle and it will go both ways. If you're joining us on a Windows computer, you will use Alt-A to mute and unmute. And if you're joining us on a Mac, you will use Command-Shift-A to mute and unmute. If you are joining us via a dial-in telephone line number, you will use *6. And again, it's also a toggle. So the same *6 will mute and unmute you. We do not use the raise hand feature. So we're not even going to go over that, because we don't use it. Like I said, if you wish to speak, wait till there's a pause in the conversation, state your name, and either myself or Sandhya will call on you. I believe that's all the preliminaries I've got for right now. Let me hand it off to Sandhya, who's going to go over some exciting announcements for us. Sandhya, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Brad. So we have another busy week. Okay. So we're here right now at the iBUG Buzz on Monday night. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing it on Clubhouse, iBUG Mini Buzz for 1 hour, as the name implicates. So that'll be at 5 p.m. Central. All times that I mentioned are Central, so please adjust accordingly. Wednesday, we have the day off, and then we can get ready for Thursday. Thursday is the Vila Book Club, and we are reading The Volunteer DB 94-283. It is a very interesting book. Some people might find it a little challenging, so, come and tell us your thoughts about the book. And then let's see, well, it's 13 hours and 50 minutes, so get started. Read fast. All right, then Friday night is iBUG night at the virtual movies, and for the big reveal, come back or stay until halftime, and we will have those mysterious clues presented by our wonderful iBUG guy. Then let's see, we will be off for the Easter weekend. And let's see, we want to just also recognize all the presenters at the iBUG Cafe yesterday. We had Greg talking about Overcast. We had Kushal all the way from Gold Coast, Australia, talking about Downcast, and our very own Shri talking about Apple Podcasts. So It has been uploaded to our website, so definitely encourage everyone to check that out. And thank y'all for all the time and preparation that y'all did to make that happen. So those are the what's coming up. And we have to remember that we're having our iBUG drawing. Remember, we are a nonprofit 501c3 corporation. So we are doing a little fundraiser. So for a chance to win a $500 gift card to the Apple Store, you can have that chance with a donation of $10, and $10 will buy you a chance to the $500. And guess what you can buy with $500? A new SE 2022 or a new Apple Watch or all kinds of cool stuff. So the information for that drawing and how to do it and so forth is all on our website. And if you need any help, please reach out to us and we will help you make your donation. Then social media, we have a website, ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. That's the best place to get all the latest current information. We encourage everyone to sign up, register. It is totally free, as are all of our services. Free. Can't beat the price. So there, once you register, and then you'll get notifications. We also have a Twitter account, is at iBug Today. Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBug Today. Right now, we always have a mentoring program, the iBug Jumpstart mentoring program, and right now is a great time to sign up if you need help as a beginning user with your iPhone. We have cleared our backlog thanks to our awesome volunteers, and we are eagerly awaiting you. Operators are, well, they're not quite standing by, but they will be standing by when you send us your application. The application is on our website under the training tab. Okay, Brad, handing it back to you.
All right. Thank you very much. That was quite a bit going on in the iBug world. Thank you for all the updated information. All right, now it's time to move closer to getting started with our question and answer. But first, what we like to do is we like to hear from everybody who's here. We like to go around the room, give everybody a chance to say hello. Tell us where you're joining us from, and especially if you are new, if you're first time joining us or you're just new to iBug in general, maybe you've been to one of our other calls before, but you've not been here. We'd like to hear from you and how you found us, what kind of device you're using. And we promise not to give you too much of a hard time, but we like to have a little fun. So if I believe everybody should be able to go ahead and unmute, I'll get things going. My name is Brad, and I am in Dallas, Texas.
This is Herbie in Houston, and this is my first time calling tonight.
Well, welcome, Herbie.
This is Marie in Reno.
Hey, Marie.
This is Ned in Texas.
All right. We had Keith. We have Ned. All right. Welcome.
Roy in Fort Worth.
Hey, Roy.
Dana in Cincinnati.
All right, Dana. Thank you. Welcome.
Dan from Southern California.
Hey, Dan.
This is Monique.
If you heard Helene in there, didn't hear who else.
Monique in Fresno, California.
Hello, Monique. Welcome.
Hello.
Wow, welcome back. We got all kinds of people coming back home today. Welcome.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I know.
Yes, glad to hear you and Keith.
Yep.
Who else we got?
This is Stephen. This is Stephen
Shree
from
and
Austin.
Stephen. All right.
This is Alice from Alabama.
Hello, Alice. Welcome.
Thomas from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Welcome, Thomas.
Greg in Texas.
Hello, Greg. Anybody else?
Jody in New Hampshire.
Hey, Jody. Is it
Hey,
still
Brad.
cold up there?
No, today was gorgeous. 60 degrees and sunny and really awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Who's that? You're kind of low.
I think that's Vincent.
Hey, Vincent, welcome.
And this is Sandhya in Houston.
Okay, Sonia, welcome. Is that everybody, I guess? All right. Well, what we'd like to do is give any of our anybody who's new or anybody who's a new user of an iOS device an opportunity to ask questions and get us going if we have any new users or anybody who's new to using an iDevice, care to get us going. Well, don't be shy. Well, anybody out there like to get us going?
This is Jody.
This is
No, go ahead, Helene. Go ahead. I was just going to make a comment about something. Go ahead, Helene.
Okay, Helene, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm on the East Coast now, so I can be on this 8 to 10. It's a late night.
I noticed you're
I
coming
love-
out of my other ear now.
Yeah, well, there you go. East
My
Coast.
right ear now. Very good.
I enjoyed the cafe yesterday, and I wanted to ask a question. I didn't ask it, but Sri said that he's listening to a mystery podcast, and I was curious about what the name of it was.
Okay, Shri, what's the name of your the podcast you listen to?
This is Shri.
Yes, sir.
I will get the title. I need to ask my wife exactly what the title is called, and I will come back and let you know later on today.
All right. Well, we'll all be looking
Thank
forward to that. Okay, Jody, you're up.
Well, I was going to comment. I had recommended to everybody the Valier earbud, and I really love it. But one of the negatives to it is that it beeps a lot. And I thought it was a feature of the earbud, but I was brainstorming with Chris today, and she had just gotten it, and the beeping was driving her crazy. And she discovered that if she turned voiceover off, the beeping stopped. And it gives you beep feedbacks when you do just about anything on the phone, and typing on a Bluetooth keyboard or anything. So anyway, I thought, well, gee, and I even asked the seller, why does it beep? And other users wrote back and said, mine doesn't beep. And I'm something, it's connected with voiceover. So I went into accessibility, voiceover, audio, sound and haptics, and I turned off the no description discovered toggle. And that also turns off the boing, boing, boing that you hear all the time when you move your finger around the screen and there's nothing there, which is really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But it also stopped the beeping. So it's like, oh, okay. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, that the Valier earbud is great. And that's how you get rid of the beeping. And that's how you get rid of the bong, bong, bong if you're annoyed by that on your screen.
And that was no item discovered under.
No, yeah. So you go to
Under
accessibility,
audio
voiceover, audio, sounds and haptics, no
Right.
description, no item discovered.
No item discovered. Yes. We've talked to people about how to turn that off. That's interesting that it's doing something to your earbuds.
And that's connected with the beeping on the earbud.
Well, thank you for that tip.
Sure.
Awesome. All right. Good information there. Okay. Who'd like to go next? Next question. Keep us moving.
Well, this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
All right, since everybody's shy tonight, this will be an interesting one. So I had a weird situation. So I was doing a Zoom screen share on my iPhone, and where we had to use a screen recording and so that the person could hear voiceover, and it was working fine for about 20 minutes, and then it stopped. Like, I could still hear voiceover just fine on my end, but they could no longer hear voiceover on their end, and anything I tried did not work. I relogged into the meeting, I shut down the phone and restarted it, and did the same steps every time and no results. So I just used my backup method of the original sound on. But I'm just curious if anybody has played with sharing their voiceover on the iPhone via the screen share and if they ran into this particular issue.
Was it just the two of you on the call?
Yes.
Okay.
And I need to try it on my account to see if I can duplicate the thing or not, but coming on here reminded me of it, so.
I don't know. I've never done it. Anybody else? Well, guess it's just you, Herbie.
I guess so. All right.
Well, that's certainly something to be on the lookout for. Okay. Who's got a question for us?
This Roy.
Yes, Roy.
I've asked about this before, but I'm still not getting it. If you have a picture and you want to put a caption on it, I know how to do that, but when you go back to your library, you can't get to that caption unless you flick down to image and activate that, and then you can hear the caption. But I thought Sri had mentioned once that he was getting the caption on the main screen without doing anything other than flicking to the picture.
And these are photos in your photo library.
Yeah, exactly. And I just put a caption on one, and when you flick to it in the library later, you can't hear the caption unless you flick down to, image and activate that, and then you hear the caption in there. But it's not on the library screen for me.
This is Sri.
Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
So Roy, you are correct. So I did try it afterwards, and it looks like they took it out because it was definitely there before. So the only workaround right now is if you do the what do you call it? Where you can ink mark the picture. That will read it if it's on the if you're on the photo library, but the annotation is not captured anymore. I did put a request in to bring that back.
Thank you. Good to know. I thought I was missing something.
No.
Okay, well, thank you, Sri. Okay.
Yeah. So the podcast. Oh, this is Sri. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The podcast title is called Isolation. And I also wanted to mention, Dan asked a question also about going from chapters. And unfortunately, with the podcast, there is no button to just automatically go to the next chapter. You do have on the media player, when it's expanded, if you swipe right, there is a heading called chapters. It's a pull down menu. It has lists of all the chapters, and you could double tap on it and then it'll skip it to the chapter. But there is no physical next chapter button.
And you're talking about in the Apple Podcast app.
That's correct.
Okay, there is such button in Overcast. So interesting. Okay, well, thank you. We can all look at, what was the name of the podcast again? Say it one more time.
The podcast title is called Isolation.
Isolation. Okay. We'll all be looking that one up here in a little bit. Thank you. Okay. Moving along, who'd like to throw out our next question for us?
This is Marty.
Yes, Marty.
I'm wondering if anyone has the same problem that it seems like the problem that we talked about a few months ago with Amazon, where you search on a product and you bring it up and it's there for about maybe 15 or 30 seconds and all of a sudden it disappears. That's kind of cropped up again today.
You're talking about in the Amazon app?
Yes, in the Amazon app. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In the shopping app, of course.
Right.
This is Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie.
So what do you mean by let's see if I can duplicate what you're doing here. So you do a search, you hit the search button, and then how do you get to the product?
Well, because when you bring up, say, you bring up heating pads, so I usually go down. There's usually some stuff at the top, but then it says results.
Right.
And then in this case, it says prices may vary. And then the first one is, I think it's like a GOQ. It's a weird name. So you click on
Right.
that,
Yep.
and then you start scrolling through reading about the product because it tells you like when it's going to be delivered. And then it tells you like, it says add to cart, buy now, and then other sellers. And then it might say product details, gives like a little
Yep.
maybe. So right as you're right around when you start getting around there, and even if you do the two finger like swipe down to read all the text, so voiceover will babble away, and then all of a sudden you hear like the tone, like when there's nothing on the screen or when you've reached the bottom of the document.
Okay, so I use mine a little differently, so you may want to try this. And I did use the Amazon app today. In fact, I placed two separate orders. So unless they made the change in the last couple of hours, I've done account of this. So what I do is I do my search results. Then I use my heading navigation to find the product that I want. I click on the link. If I want to read the description, I'm going to find that heading, and then I'm just going to flick right. And if I instead want to add to cart, I'm going to go to at least the first heading on the page because that tends to bring the rotor into better focus. And then I can use my rotor to find button and swipe down to add to cart. So
See, I don't do rotor stuff. I just either swipe right or I do the three finger swipe up because I know like the detailed description, like after it says have any questions, and then it has description, that might be because usually there's like a product image was on page 6. So
okay, yeah, that's a different. Okay, because like, well,
and
maybe
then
somebody
I
else
swipe.
uses that app that same way then, because I use the rotor heavily. So
Yeah, no, I don't use a rotor. And around page 9 or so is when you get the full description with the features and all that.
right. Well, I
But
wonder.
like I said, it disappears. It's all of a
This is
sudden
Jody.
like gone.
You done?
Go ahead.
Okay. Go
I
ahead,
just
Jody.
I just went to Amazon and searched, and I just searched for a product, and I didn't have any problems with it.
So then this is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So Jody, I'm just curious. Are you using the rotor like to find your way around the app, or are you using like Marty's method? Jody?
She must have gone back to searching the site.
So Herbie, what do you set your rotor to? Is you set the characters or?
I set my rotor to headings when I'm going through like the products on the first page, and then when I click on the link, I usually have to just go to one heading because if I try to use my rotor, it won't see the buttons or whatever. So I just go to the first heading, and then I will switch my rotor to button, and I will go down to add to cart. If I want to read the description, then I would keep it on the headings and swipe down, or I actually have a custom action for my heading navigation. But either way, I would use it till I get to the heading that says description, because all that other stuff you described has headings like other sellers and this and that that and this. So
usually I like to keep my rotor on characters. It's Marty. I like to keep my rotor on characters because sometimes these products, the manufacturer's like a weird name, and I want to get the spelling of it.
Right.
So.
Well, you can just move the rotor back 2 characters, or you can do custom settings for your rotor actions that you use. Like I do a 2-finger swipe right to activate, to use my heading navigation to go forward, and 2-finger swipe left to go back. So.
But you're not having the issue where you lose.
No.
Okay.
I didn't lose anything. And I lost my money to Amazon because I ordered several things. That's all I lost. So
you didn't lose it. You know where it is.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Bezos,
Yeah. Try
He
the
loves
hitting
me, what can I say?
in the
If he
rotor,
was
Marty, and see if that
thousand
works
dollars.
better for you.
All right.
All
Yep.
right.
Thanks.
All right. Who's got our next question? Who hasn't had a chance that would like to get in there with a good question for us, or even a not so good question?
Dana.
Dana, there you go. Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering, I've been on YouTube lately and I found several sound files. Well, I guess they're videos, sound files, whatever. And I'd like to send them in an email to someone, myself or someone else. How would I go about doing that?
Ooh. Sending a link to a YouTube video from using the YouTube app on your iPhone?
Yes, sending a YouTube link by email to another email, somebody else's email.
Okay. Who knows how to share
This
the
is
link from a
Keith.
YouTube? Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
When you activate a video on YouTube, you can go down through there and right above the comments, if you swipe left, it will say like download and then share. And if you swipe down through that player, I think it's after the like and dislike button, you will find a share button. And if you tap on that, it will bring up the regular share sheet that includes mail that you can send that video to your email, and you can send it to messages. And also there's a copy link there that you can copy the link and just paste it wherever you want to.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Good hearing you in here, Keith.
Yeah, this is Jody.
All right. Yes, Jody.
Yeah, you also want to make sure that you've got your phone in portrait mode so that the video is at the top and then the comments and all the other information is under the video. If you turn it to landscape mode, you're not going to see all those features.
Oh, okay.
Good tidbit. Good tip, Jody. All righty. Okay, well, thank you, Jody. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Keith. That helped us out there. Okay, who's got the next question for us?
This is
Keep it
Kenny.
moving. Is that Kenny? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm using the app called IRA, AIRA, and here lately, and I've got the latest app version, the latest iOS 15.4.1.
Uh-huh.
And no matter if I use Wi-Fi or cellular, they say my video is choppy, and this is on an iPhone 11 Pro Max. And I used IRA on an iPhone 7 with iOS 13. And they said that video was clear, crystal clear when I moved it. And what my phone is doing is if I move, it blurs the video. And then when I stop, it's crystal clear. But IRA, the agents, they say it's
This is
choppy.
Herbie.
Okay, Herbie.
Just a thought. So have you tried using video in another app like Zoom?
No, but I did call Apple and have them diagnose the phone or do a diagnostic, and everything is in the green. They were impressed. They said battery health is at 96, camera is excellent, everything tested.
And you did right. Well, that's excellent. Well, that's good. Hey, well, you want a green apple, I guess, so you don't want a red apple. Well, maybe do. But so then I'm assuming, did you try like the obvious, like restarting your phone?
Yes.
Did you try reinstalling the app?
Yes.
See, I'd be curious. This is why I think the first thing I'd try is I'd try another app like Zoom. Obviously you need a sighted person, and see if your camera blurs on that, and that would tell that would at least help narrow down a little bit. Okay, is there something going on with the camera itself, or is it something within the IRA app?
Try Be My Eyes. That's very similar to IRA.
Or yeah, Be My Eyes. That would work too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used Be My Eyes, and they have not complained about any choppiness. I'm like, choppiness? I'm on Wi-Fi. My download is 400 down and 20 megabits up. And
this is Shri.
Yeah, go ahead, Shri.
Just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit here. Do you think They don't like the resolution that you are panning with the camera versus, because you said it worked perfectly fine on a older phone, which probably is not doing it at a higher res as your current phone is doing. Maybe reduce that, see if that makes a difference.
Okay, reduce resolution, and that would be in settings camera. You're talking about that part where it's.
I would check on the IRAP to see if there's a
on the
settings.
iMac. Okay.
What kind of? I'm just kind of throwing that from a left field, just thinking.
Yeah. Well, it worked. I mean, it worked. All of us, all the way up to 15.4.1. Once I got 15.4.1, then people, I would use the IRA and they're like, oh, your video's choppy, because I always ask them how the video is. But they said, wow, as soon as you stop, I can see your living room, your dining room, even stuff on your table far, far away. And I'm like, well, that's excellent. But if I do a twist and quickly move to the right, it's all blurry. So I was like, But I thought the camera was malfunctioning as well. That's why I went to Apple, and I didn't go to Apple, but I called them, and they did do a diagnostic, and they said the camera's running, it passed all their diagnostic tests. And there's, nothing on the lenses or nothing like that. Otherwise, they wouldn't see the crystal clearness. Which I do occasionally wipe the camera off and stuff like that.
All right. Well, wish we had something more definitive for you, Kenny, but look into that. Okay, who's got our next question? Who hasn't had a chance who'd like
This is Ned.
Yes, Ned.
Yes, my issue is placing a phone call from my recent list. And this has happened to me a couple of times where I want to make a phone call. I'm in the recent window and I'm scrolling down 1 or 2 times to find my name. I mean, the name I want to call. VoiceOver says the name. I tap on it. I tap on it twice. And lo and behold, I'm calling my most recent phone call. And sometimes I scroll down maybe 3 or 4 times to find the caller. But like today, I got a phone call and then I got another call and I wanted to call that first call back. And so I just had to scroll down once. I heard the name very clearly, double tapped, and I was calling the recent caller. So has anybody else had that issue?
This is Jody.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jody, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. This has been a chronic problem ever since 15, and to me, it happens to everybody. It's so unreliable. I don't even bother going to my recents or my favorites. It'll do the same thing in favorites. So when I want to make a call, what I'll do is I might go to recents and go to that number and then swipe up till you hear info and go to the info information and dial the number from there.
Okay. This is
But
Ned.
this is
Yeah,
an
Ned, go
embarrassing
ahead.
problem. You end up calling people and oh my gosh,
Okay. What I've been doing is going back to my contact list and going in
Yes,
there.
that works too. Yeah.
That works too.
To find so I'm calling the correct person. Okay. It's happened to me about 3 or 4 times just recently. And I thought I was going
not you.
crazy.
It's not
Okay.
just you. No.
Okay. Thank you, Jody.
Try swipe to more info, and that's like going to your contacts, and you can find the number in there.
This is Keith.
Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
I've had this happen in other places as well. And I've noticed if I swipe to something, it usually the focus just, is not where it says it is. And I just physically have to go to the screen and put my finger on that contact or that post in Facebook or whatever, and then just use the magic, the 2-finger double tap. I'll hold the finger on that just say the contact and then tap with the other finger, and that usually works most of the time. But like I said, I've had it happen in other places as well.
Okay, another good tip. Thank you, Keith. Okay, who's got our next question? Who wants to keep us moving along? Who hadn't had a chance? I'd like to get in there with one. Maybe one of our new callers.
This is Alice.
Yes, Alice.
I received a notification that my phone was receiving too many spam calls, and I'd like for you to listen to this message, so maybe you can give me some insight on it.
2 notifications. Messages. 12 hours ago. +1. 505525027. System. Dear user, your device is receiving too many spam messages. Click here to remove it. willendriver.com/vxxslfb.
You got any?
Sounded like it was asking you to click to a link, and I think it said remove something, but I've never heard of such a thing.
This is Steven.
This is Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen, and then Ken.
Sounds to me like it's a scam. They're trying to get
Yeah,
you.
that's
That's
what
what I
I'm
think.
thinking. 'Cause I don't
Okay.
know what that was. Let's see. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is it Kenny?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same things. Delete that message. Sounds like a scam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Herbie.
I
Yeah,
I
go
agree
ahead,
with
Herbie.
everybody else.
Yeah,
I got
that
that
is
the other day.
that those are definitely spam messages. If you click on those links, that's going to lead you to malware that you don't want to deal with. So, you would if it was really a system, your provider has no control over that type of thing anyway. But your provider, they always identify themselves in their actual messages. At least that's been my experience. And so,
Or if it's a doctor's office, it's Monique, by the way. If it's a doctor's office, they will tell you, okay, if we have to do a phone call, it's going to say unknown caller.
Right.
At least that's been my experience. I have Verizon as my provider, and in fact, I just got a call the other day from a number I didn't recognize, but I thought, oh, well, maybe it's like from one of my medications or something. And I answered it, and it's like, oh, your car, we've been trying to notify you about your car. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's a scam. Definitely erase that and just ignore it.
Okay, this is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Just a reminder to everybody, when you're ready to speak, say your name, and then let Brad, manage the traffic. All right, thank you.
All right. Yes. So, Alice, delete that text message and ignore it.
Okay.
All right. That's good advice there. Okay. Who'd like to go next?
This is Sandhya. Follow
Okay, Sandhya.
I heard something. I have gotten it's kind of related to Alice's spam issue. I get a lot of like, we want to buy your house and all this kind of garbage. And I thought at some point you could say stop and then it would stop. But somebody said, don't do that because that's just confirming that you're a real account. So I don't know. Anybody have experience
Talking
with
about a text message?
Yes.
So
I don't know.
This is Steven.
Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I get that too all the time, and I just basically I either block it or just delete it and ignore it because, yeah, I'm afraid they'll just start sending me more stuff. So I just ignore it.
This is
her. Oh, go ahead, Keith.
Go ahead, Keith.
I think a good rule of thumb is to only respond to text that you know who the sender is, whether it's your carrier or a doctor's office. If it's something you do not recognize, even if it's saying reply with S to stop, I just like everybody else, I would just delete it and respond to the ones that you know exactly who it is. It's kind of the same with email. Over the years, we've been getting spam email, and just you don't want to tap on any of their messages or links to let them know that yes, you are a real person, and they'll just send you more, and then they'll probably share your number knowing that it's a real number.
This is Terry.
Yes, Terry.
The other thing is sometimes scammers will pretend to be somebody or some company that you know. And if you're not sure and you don't recognize the number, and even though they're saying that they're a certain person and call us at this number, you want to do not call on that at that number that they're providing, and do not double tap on the link that they're providing, but go to the number that you know for the company or the person that you know and call that number, or go to the internet and directly go to that source. Because there are lots of bad people out there who want to pretend to be people they're not, as another way to get your money and your attention, and so
This is
that's the other thing.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead,
This is
Herbie.
Herbie. So this actually brought to mind something else I've been experiencing over the last few days, which is rather annoying. I'm surprised it hasn't blown up. So I've been getting these group texts that say, your bill has been paid through March and we want to reward you. Click on this link. Now I just delete them, but that is again it's an obvious spam thing, and how I know it's spam is they didn't actually identify themselves or my name, so that already is a red flag. A legit company is going to actually tell you to visit their website and log in with your account. And that was the second red flag. And third of all, I don't think a company is going to send out a group text message saying your bill has been paid. So you just gotta you just have to ignore these things and just delete them. If it somehow comes as an iMessage, you do have the option of at least reporting it to Apple, because then they're using the Apple's services, and then Apple can investigate. But if it's just a regular text message, there's really nothing you can do other than hit delete. The only time I would consider blocking if you do get a number of texts from the same number, but most scammers are just good about having throwaway numbers. So
This is Farmy.
Okay, go ahead, Farmy.
I was doing a search on Google dealing with Social Security Administration, and then I got a text message to my iPhone telling me that if I want to talk to somebody about the work incentives or the Ticket to Work program, and it came like immediately after I finished doing a search for that information. Anybody explain what they might be doing? Or because whenever I search for anything on Google, I see like it might come up on my Facebook feed or something dealing with something that I just looked at on Google. But today it just came to my iPhone as a text message. I'm not sure if it's an iMessage or not.
This is Marty.
Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, you may have your Google search may have triggered like some type of automated message thing, and so that's probably why that probably is a legitimate message. But it's up to you whether you want to delete it or deal with it.
Okay, what I did was I told them, you fell for it, you took the bait, and then they came back later and said that they were sorry and they was going to delete me out.
This is Shri.
Okay, go ahead, Shri.
Yeah, I would say that's probably not legit, because just because you Google search it, they don't have access to, the IRS doesn't just have an automatic link to you because you searched on something. That just sounds very fishy to me. It sounds like they were phishing you as you were going to these sites. They were pulling the information.
This is Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah, I agree with Shri. The other feedback I was just going to mention, though, in general terms, because you mentioned, Marmy, you were unsure if it was an iMessage or not. And I was just going to give, if that's okay, Brad, just give you and everybody a couple of little tips on how you can know the difference between an iMessage and a text message. So a text message, it's going to say text message. There won't be any and it'll clearly say text message. You'll see like a send button that's dim to the right of it unless you've written in the field. An iMessage, it's going to use the term iMessage when you're on the edit field. Also, though, with an iMessage, if it's from a number that is not in your contacts, you're going to see a button to the left of the edit field that says report this user, and to the right, you're most likely going to see a record voice message button. So those are just some basic ways you can tell if it's a text or an iMessage.
I would also like to say there's usually a banner up above the message that above the date that will identify text message or iMessage.
Yep, there is that too. Yep. And I think color coding wise, I think it's like I heard it's like a blue color for an iMessage.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see
that. I
it.
don't
Yeah,
know
this
either.
is Jody. Yes, it's
Yeah,
blue.
go ahead, Jody.
It's blue if it's an iMessage, and it's green if it's a text message.
There you go. You learn something new every day, don't you?
Alrighty.
And even you can get, and even the report junk just means you don't identify, you don't know who this user is. It doesn't mean that they actually are a spammer. It just means that this number is not in your contacts. And yeah, so that's all that means. So anyway,
All right. Thank you, Herbie. Good information.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
Jody.
Yeah, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, you can also go to settings, go to Safari, and turn tracking off. And I'm not sure if that will stop that sort of thing, but
Go
that's
to
what I've done.
privacy and turn off ad
Yeah,
tracking.
go to privacy, privacy settings and Safari settings, and turn off tracking.
Yeah, it's very good. Thank you, Jody. Okay, who's got our next question? Keep us moving
This is
along.
Marty.
Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
I just, you know how in settings sometimes if there's an update, it will say settings one item. Well, I had that last night, settings one item. So I went into settings, and what it was it asked me to review my SMS emergency SOS settings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if anybody ever, that's the first time I ever got that. And the only thing I really changed was it said that the clicking the side button 5 times, that was turned off. So I turned that on and then went out of that.
This was right below your name on the settings where it says your name under iOS. It says there's like a notification or something, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's from Apple. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure, okay, but you've gotten that before.
I've seen them, similar things. Yes, that's legitimate.
That's
That's
the
from
first
Apple.
time I've ever. What do you think triggered that?
They wanted you to know that you didn't have your click the side button 5 times. You can just ignore it or turn it on.
Yeah, no,
I
I did turn it on because I had everything else turned on. Like you can actually turn off or on the the countdown sound and all that. I never went into that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just letting you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Good question. Okay, who'd like to go next? Who hadn't had a chance? Would like to get an opportunity to go ask us a question. Anybody? One of our new users?
This is David.
Yeah, David.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I know we talked about, or Kenny was talking about like using Ira, get visual help. Well, there's an app I used to recommend called Be Specular. It's BESPECULAR. I think it's one word, but looks like it doesn't work anymore. I think a few other people in this group used it also, but I haven't. I think last time I went into it, I don't know what happened was I had turned that setting to delete my apps for space reasons. It'll archive your unused apps.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tried to restore that one, it said, well, it's not available anymore. It's been taken out of the app store.
Interesting.
And I don't know if anyone else knows anything about it. I couldn't find much news about it, but I assume it just ran out of money. And
maybe so. Maybe so. Apparently, it's not available in the App Store anymore. Anybody use Bespecular?
Because it was a really nice concept. You could just take pictures and send it. You wouldn't have to stay on video. Like, if you just had some things you wanted to be identified, you could snap pictures of them and send them, and then they would get back to you with descriptions, usually within several minutes. It was not live, but it was pretty quick.
Well, apparently they're no more. Well, thank you for that, David. Okay, who's next? Who'd like to? We'd like to ask our next question.
This is Dee.
Yeah, Dee.
Yeah, I don't have a question right now, but in response to what David was saying, I never used Be Specular, but a good alternative would be My Eyes. I use Ira and Be My Eyes, and I usually call Ira because I know I'm getting a professional. But tonight, it said the lines were busy and they couldn't take my free call at that time. So I called Be My Eyes to make sure I set my oven in on the right setting. And it worked just perfect. That's pretty quick.
All right.
So I would recommend that.
Okay. Thank you, Dee. Anybody who'd like to go next? Who's got our next question?
Xavier, how you doing?
Yeah, Xavier.
Yes, I'd like to know, how do you know if your phone is being traced or tracked?
If your phone is being what?
Traced or tracked, or like your
Traced
conversations,
or tracked.
you're being tracked.
Okay. Who knows about tracing and tracking on iPhones?
This is Barmy.
Yeah, go ahead, Mommy.
I had my location sharing was on, but I didn't know that it was on. And my daughter-in-law would always call me and say what I'm doing in Walmart. I didn't know how she knew, but my location sharing was shared with her, so she was able to track everywhere I went.
Okay.
It would be under privacy, I believe.
Okay.
Under location.
This is
right.
Sri.
Yeah, Sri, go ahead.
So when I used to work in telecom, if it's legit, you will be hearing an audible alert to let you know that the call is being tracked. I'm not sure how it works with cell service, but that's how it was previously. So maybe legally, they're supposed to generate some notification to you to let you know it's being monitored.
This is Terry.
Yes, Terry.
Find My allows you to be tracked by others, and in theory, you're supposed to have to set that up. But that's the other way it can work, where my sister-in-law used to aggravate me because I did do a Find My with her, but then I turned it off because she'd say, "Oh, I saw the other day you were in so and so," and maybe that's not what you're talking about. I don't know if that would if that can accidentally be turned on for somebody in your contacts, but that is another way for that to happen.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Sandhya.
Yes, Sandhya.
Right. So the share that Terry's talking about in the Find My, there are different time periods that you can share. So maybe you share for an hour or the rest of the day or forever. But I think unless somebody had access to your phone and set it up without you knowing, but it would say, who is able to see your, like my sister can see mine. And so it shows that I'm sharing with her. So, but you're thinking of something more surreptitious, I guess. I mean, like you want to know if somebody has an app or something that's used to track your phone, right? I think.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, someone did set up my like the little eye thing to find a object, like it's in my backpack. So someone else did set it up for me. So I don't know if it was,
Okay. This is Sandhya.
Yes, Sandhya.
Right. So you can find objects, and then that's like the AirTag, but like for people, but for people, there's a separate thing. So if I want to share my location with Brad, and then I'm like, and then I could set it if I had his phone or whatever, and I could secretly do it, but eventually he'd find out that he was sharing location with me. So Find My people is different from finding objects or items.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sri.
Yeah, go ahead, Sri.
Yeah, I completely misunderstood the question, so probably just disregard what I said. But one thing you may also want to check is, like, for example, I added my brother to the family account, and so he could technically see me since he's in the family account. So do you know if anything was added to your account? Because you can definitely check to see who's all in the family sharing.
Well, I have my sons on my account, so I don't.
Did you take a look just to make sure it is your son and yourself that's on the family sharing?
Okay, no, I have not. How do I do that? Do I go into? Just go into my account?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'd have to take a look just to go through the steps, but I can look at it if unless somebody else knows at the top of their head.
I believe you go in, this is Brad. I believe you open settings, tap on your name, and it's pretty obvious. It's one of those settings up at the top under, oh God, there's 4 things at the top. I believe it's one of those, because I know that I can see that I'm sharing like with my wife and my son. So, and it says that family
This is
sharing,
Dee.
maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure about what you're talking about, letting others track you like that. But I do know that I have tracking on with my weather app. That way, if they know, my location, I can get alerts and tell me it's going to be raining in 15 minutes or it's going to snow in the next 5 minutes or whatever. And right at the very top of my status bar, it always says tracking on. So I don't know if that tracking on would be at the top of the status bar if you were sharing your location with your friends and family or not.
No, that's not on my status bar. I know that.
Okay.
Okay, we got time for another quick one. Who's got a quick?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, David. Who's got a quick one for us?
Roy,
Yeah, Roy.
on my phone, I can say, take me home, and GPS kicks in and knows my address. Is it pulling that information from my contact or from Siri? Does anybody know?
Who knows how it's getting your home address?
This is Dee.
Yeah, D.
Yeah, that comes from your contact card if you've got your address and things in your contact.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks.
That was definitely a quick one. We still got 2 minutes. We got another really quick one we can get in here before the top of the hour.
It's Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon.
Should we have our addresses in our contact card? I just realized I don't. What are the pros and cons?
Can advise Sharon on the pros and cons of having your address in your contacts.
This is Terry.
Okay, go ahead, Terry.
For me, the pros are, or the pro is, the reason I have it in there is if I'm helping to guide somebody from a place I'm not so familiar with, and to get back to my home, I can say to the SIRI person, get me directions to home, or get me directions home, or something like that. And that can help the driver who's assisting me, or even if I'm out for a walk and I somehow get myself lost. So that's why I have it in there. But and so that works for me. But it's unfortunate nowadays we have to think twice and 3 times about everything we do that identifies us, because of all the people out there who want to use it for bad reasons.
And this is Brad. It can also help with autofill when if you're on the web, you're filling out your your own information. You can get your name and your address if you're ordering something, so it can help. Anyway, and with that, we are pretty much at the top of the hour. So we're going to wrap up this half of the festivities and turn it over to Sandhya, and we'll have those wonderful movie clues that we all look forward to. Sandhya, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank
Alrighty.
you, Brad. All right. Very busy first half. Great questions. And now we are going to give anybody who joined us, didn't get to say hello the first time around, so just say your name and where you're from, please.
Kathy Kelson.
Kathy, welcome. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you. This is Terry from home.
All right, welcome.
This is Sharon
Linda
from
from Humble.
All right, Sharon from New York, and Linda, welcome.
Jake
This
from
is
Michigan.
Dee from the kitchen. Jake from Michigan, and who else?
Dee from my kitchen.
Hey, welcome, Dee.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just have to fill them in myself. All right.
Kenny from
who else?
Missouri.
Hey, Kenny, welcome. Anybody else?
This is Deb from my patio.
Hey, Deb. Okay. Welcome to you. Anybody else want to say
Suva.
hi?
Suva from
Suva,
Houston.
welcome, welcome. All right. Going once. Anybody else?
Farming on the interstate.
Hey, Parmi, welcome. Glad you're back. Okay. Okay, people, we are now getting ready for the iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies big reveal. And with those wonderful, undecipherable clues, we have the iBUG guy himself, I think. Mr. iBUG guy, are you there? Oh, dear. Mr. iBUG guy, are you there? Oh.
I guess that answers the question.
Oh boy.
Yes, yes, yes. I
No
is
singing, no singing.
here.
All right, very good. Oh, you're here?
I am back once
Okay.
again. Everybody looking forward to hearing from me, I know. So I am here to
Not quite, but okay.
for your listening pleasure.
Okay.
So we are going to, what are we going to do? Talk about the movie this Friday. Friday, we have another movie, 8 p.m., or you can come early for the pre-movie social. Stick around afterwards for discussion and trivia. And it'll be right here on this very same Zoom channel, line, whatever you want to call it, conference. So please come join us if you're not doing anything else Friday night. All right, now it is time for my
Okay.
All right, that one got squished a bit. All right, you never know what happens here.
I know.
By the way, I am coming to you live. All right, anyway, so we are now ready to go into our clues. And just like always, please say your name, wait to be recognized. And then I'll call on you to take a guess at the name of the film. There is one guess per clue. And I forgot who won last time, but who was it? I don't remember. Anyway, you're eligible still this week. Whoever you
This
were.
is Stephen.
Stephen.
It was
you were-
Preston at that one last time.
Preston.
One of the new callers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You get the prize for this week, Stephen. We'll skip all the clues.
Yeah, Preston got on the first clue last time. Pretty
He
amazing.
did, actually. He did.
That is right. And I thought I had it stumped. All right. Nobody's going to get on the first clue this week. All right. Clue number one. This week's film is a romantic comedy about a couple living in, guess where? The most popular place for films that we watch? New York City.
Yay.
This is Ned.
Ned.
Barefoot in the park.
Barefoot in the park. Oh, no. Good try. Going once, going twice.
Jody.
Oh, Jody got in under the wire. So
Made Manhattan.
Main Manhattan. That's pretty close, but that's not it either. Thank you.
This is Shri.
Shri.
New York Stories.
New York Stories. That is almost not even close, but good try. All right, we're going to move on to clue.
Xavier.
Oh, Kathy, then Xavier.
The Out-of-Towners.
The Out-of-Towners. Have I seen that one? Who's in that?
It doesn't matter. Go on.
Oh, no, that's not it. But I was just trying to find out about the film. All right, Xavier, go ahead.
Trying to remember
Hitch?
who else.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. What'd you say, Xavier?
I said Hitch.
Hitch. Oh, that is another great film that we will probably never see, but good try. All right, we're moving to clue number 2.
Hi.
The film explores new dimensions of the persona that the screenwriter has constructed in his movies. I don't even
I
understand.
have no idea what you just said.
That's true about every movie.
The film explores new dimensions of the persona that the screenwriter has constructed in his movies.
Yep, that's
This is
totally
Marie.
circular.
Oh, Marie!
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall. That is an excellent guess. And ding, 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 ding. She got it. Yes. Wait
On
a
the obscure
minute.
clue, no less.
How did you get that?
I actually got it on the first clue, but I was in the kitchen and my headset gets all garbled when I'm in the kitchen, so I couldn't answer till I got
God,
back.
that's crazy.
All
No, I
right.
got it from the first. You said romantic comedy in New York. I thought of Annie Hall immediately.
All right. Very good.
And since that second clue was so strange, and since the writer was so strange, I figured it had to be him.
Yep. Very good. All right. Very good.
Sorry, I ended the fun so soon.
No problem.
You helped us out.
Bye, Bailey.
A bonus. One of the
Saved
cast members is a singer-songwriter, part of a duo known for such hits as
This is Herbie.
iBUG.
Hello, Darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel. Paul
Say your
Simon.
name.
Would,
Sorry,
this is
you're
Herbie.
not-
I did.
Paul
Right.
Simon, very good. So Woody Allen, Diane Keaton, and others cameo appearances by some well-known actors. So stick around and come back again on Friday. All right, here we
Is
go.
the gift a lobster?
Oh, good. I forgot about that. All right, Johnny, what's our prize for Marie this week?
All right, Marie, you are the winner of not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you win 6 lobsters. So Kathy was only 1/6 right. And these lobsters are in the iBUG colors. This is the American lobster, which is the largest lobster in that category. It is coveted on the U.S. coastal. Why is it so coveted? Because of its sizable tail. And it is the official crustacean of the state of Maine and features claws that deliver generous amounts of succulent meat. And Well, that's the main thing. They're claws. So I hope you like it, and there will help you figure out how to cook it once you kill them first. They recommend
Okay.
killing them first before you eat them. Okay, with that, thank you for playing. Marie and Mr. McCulloch, would you like to say good night?
Good night. Good night.
Okay, too much singing today. All right, very good. Okay. Okay, I get the connection now. All right, here we go. Now, the best part of the evening is when I get to mute everybody. Yay.
Great.
Are you smiling when you do it?
Always. All right, now we are back. Peace has been restored after the chaos. And our Brad is going to be doing so this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to do our iBUG Bite segment, a brief show and, of how a tip or helpful information, and then we'll resume with our questions. So with that, Brad, are you back?
Yes, I am. I am here.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes, sir,
All right.
Bob.
Now,
Or
what I
Brad.
have tonight, this one's kind of short and sweet. This is what I think is an important little thing to know. It's been covered before. It is the voiceover pronunciations. And then you have a word. VoiceOver just doesn't say it right. Maybe it's a name, maybe it's a place name, maybe it's just another word, just a word. And VoiceOver doesn't say it right. And there is a way to go into VoiceOver and onto speech and then pronunciations, and you can correct it, at least until VoiceOver does something else. No, usually these stick. So let's take a look at this.
2012.
Let's see, we hear that okay?
A little louder.
2012. 2012.
There you go.
Out on my end. Okay,
Good.
I'm going to open this up. Now, what I've got here, just to make it simple. Oops.
2012.
Okay, good. Don't talk until I'm ready for you to. For my example, something that popped into my head because I was dealing with this the other day. It's a certain album by Steely Dan. The album title is spelled AJA, which Steely Dan pronounces that as Asia. But VoiceOver does not. VoiceOver pronounces it. Well, let's listen.
Aja. Steely Dan.
Aja. Well, that's not any good because the rest of the world calls this album Asia. So how can we fix that? AJA. So I'm going to go here. I have my
Music. Settings.
VoiceOver open. It's on settings. So I go to
VPN.
no,
Non-connected.
it was open.
Display and bright. Home. Accessibility.
It was already on
Accessibility features.
VoiceOver.
VoiceOver.
But
Vision.
I let
Heading.
it
VoiceOver.
there.
On. VoiceOver.
Okay.
On.
It was parked and waiting, but it didn't want to cooperate. So here we go. We go here to
Speech.
speech. Open up speech.
Voice. Alex.
Voice.
Pronunciations.
We go to pronunciation.
Ira.
Go to
Ira.
pronunciation. I got several of them in here. There's Ira, which of course, if you don't do anything, it'll say era. But so I corrected that one a long time ago. Up in the upper right corner of the screen here, we will find an add button. So you select the add button.
Add. Phrase. Text
And
field.
it goes right to the phrase text field. This is where you give it the phrase you want. So I am going to spell
Select cap A.
A,
Cap A. J.
J,
J. A.
A. Okay, that is the phrase. And it will say it for us here. What is it?
Substitute phrase. Text field. Is editing. Aja.
So
Insertion
it calls
point
it
at
out.
end.
So I want it to say when it encounters this phrase.
Phrase. Substitution. Text
I'm
field.
going to
Insertion
spell
point
this.
at end. Selected. Cap A.
K A
Elf. Cap A. S.
S
S. J. I. A. A.
Asia, like the continent.
Substitution. Text field. Is editing. Asia.
Now,
Character mode.
it also
Insertion point
allows
at
for you, if it's not so simple, there is a place here.
Dictate replacement.
You can dictate a replacement if no matter how you spell it, it just isn't right. There's a little hit or miss. I've tried that one before. It worked, but it took me a while. You got to make sure you say it right. There are some other variables in here.
Dictate or spell out. Languages. English.
It's
US.
English. That's my default language.
Voices. All.
All voices. Doesn't matter which voice I've got VoiceOver speaking. I want it to be to apply to all voices.
Ignore case.
Ignore case, whether it's any lowercase, uppercase, just ignore case.
Apply to all apps. On.
Apply to all apps. Okay. So there is no
Play button.
edit button.
Pronunciations. Back
There
button.
is no done or anything. You just go up here to the upper left and there is a
Pronunciations.
back button and select the back button.
Pronunciate.
And there it is. It is now in the list. We find it.
Rocks. Hasley. Rocks. Aja. Asia. Button.
Says now when it sees
Actions
Aja, it will
available.
pronounce it as Aja. So let's go back to my music app.
Songs.
And now we will
Music.
find it here.
Asia. Steely Dan.
And
Button.
it now
Possible
pronounces
text. Steely Dan.
the name of that album correctly. And this was just a simple example. Like I said, I have found place names. My wife and I have been to Hawaii, and VoiceOver does not pronounce a lot of Hawaiian locations in the way that they are commonly pronounced. So you can fix those. You have to play maybe with some vowels and things like that. I mean, like Lahaina, it likes to say Lahaina, and I had to fix that one. Mostly I didn't have to fix it. I was experimenting and learning about this once upon a time. People's names and other things like that, place names and names are things that are commonly not pronounced the way that VoiceOver thinks they're spelled. Anyway, that's my buzz bite for this evening. Anybody have any questions? I'm happy to do my best with them.
All right, that is so important. All right, anybody have questions for
Marty.
Brad? Go ahead, Marty.
Marty. So,
yeah,
Brad, when you, instead of typing in replacement text, if you do the dictation, will Alex say whatever you've dictated, or will the replacement text be the your voice?
Oh no, it just hears me and then phonetically spells out. I have a name in there that no matter what I did, I could not get it to, I couldn't correct it by spelling it. So I dictated it. And when I go in there, it is phonetically spelled out, kind of like when you look up words in the dictionary, and there is a phonetic spelling of the word with little phonetic symbols and things above letters and things that don't make any sense to me. But it now says that name correctly.
And also, it's Marty. Did you say you can do that? You can make that change with the Siri voice also, or just the VoiceOver voices?
It's VoiceOver.
Okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with Siri. There's another method of correcting the way Siri says things, but I have to. That's a whole nother demo.
Oh, okay.
This is Terry.
Yeah, Terry.
If you change from Alex to another VoiceOver voice, I find that the other voice will not pronounce it the same way that Alex did. So then you have to go change the pronunciation again if the new voice mispronounces something.
There was an option in here to make these changes apply to all voices. So if that's turned on, in my experience, it works in all voices.
Oh, good. They've added that then.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Needless to say, I haven't done it for a while, but good.
Anybody else?
This is Dee.
Yeah, Dee.
Yeah. How do you handle words like live and live, read and read?
That one, it's not going to fix because they're spelled the same.
Right.
And it's kind of contextual. And unfortunately, Siri doesn't have that level of intelligence. It's written into the algorithm, and it just isn't there to determine, contextual changes. I can't remember what we call those words. They're not homonyms. That's something different.
No, I don't know what they are either. I just know.
It's one of those things I learned in the third grade, but that was a long time ago. So
yeah, we all forgot third grade by now.
exactly.
Yeah, I run into that all the time because it'll read something and say
live,
read,
live, read, read, things of that nature.
I know I start to laugh and think, read,
It's just one of the things we learn to live with when we use screen readers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I just wondered if there was a way to teach her a difference. Because I don't find that it ever changes. It's always read.
Yeah, it does one
Doesn't
or
matter
the
what
other. You're correct.
context
Yes.
is being used in, it just
Okay.
says read. And I
Right.
don't remember if it says live or live. But
Yeah,
I just
don't
laugh
remember
when it
either.
happens.
Right.
So,
Let's
okay.
see. Okay. Now
Thought
here's
maybe you
Sri.
had a
Oh, no,
timer
I was
for
just
me.
going to say, if you try to maybe spell it a little bit different to change the pronunciation. I know I have a friend named Bobby, but she spells it Bobe, and it by default says Bob. So I changed the spelling to Bobie, and then it says
Right.
Bobby. So you may play around with spelling of the word to change it.
Yeah, that's I did that before. Like I said, Lahaina, city on the island of Maui. If you spell it the way it's spelled, voiceover will say Lahaina, and I had to go in and play with it. And actually, what I did was change some vowels or something. I can't remember. I did it years ago, and it now says it correctly. You know.
This is D.
Yeah, go ahead, D.
I don't think with the words read and live you can change it in any way. that
No,
it's
you
going to.
cannot. No,
Yeah, no.
it's not. Nothing's going to fix that.
No. Okay.
Anybody else?
Well,
right,
this
then.
is Sandhya.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if this is a different setting, maybe verbosity, I don't know, but you know, when you have like initials or acronyms and you know, it's like F period B period I period or whatever, is there a way to fix that? I mean, I would have to.
Yes.
Okay, that's a different.
NVDA.
Oh God,
It
yeah.
wants to say NVDA. So what I have done is no periods. N space V space D space A, and it will say it correctly. And you could try that with other, you know, things that are series of letters. But
All right,
that's
thank
one
you.
I've had to fix.
Okay. It's just very annoying because it all slows down so much. So.
Yep.
This is Ned.
Yeah, Ned.
How would you fix this word? Caregiver comes out to be caregiver all the time.
Put a hyphen between care and giver.
Okay, thank you.
And it'll treat it like two separate words, but with the hyphen. We have a certain member of the iBUG crew who has a last name. And I had to put a hyphen between Wild and Groover to make it say it correctly. 'Cause it would not do it. And that fixed it. But yeah, caregiver, that'll do it.
All right. Anybody else? Questions for Brad? Yeah, this is so important. Thank you, Brad, because we hear these things over and over and it gets so annoying. So now we can fix them. So, okay, very good.
All right.
Okay, good job. All right, who's next with the first question of our second half? Somebody who hasn't had a turn. I think fur was flying during the first half. So this is your turn. We'll slow down the traffic and just say your name. And we'll give you
Sharon,
Go ahead,
can I
Sharon.
ask can I have a follow up to the question because we sort of ended it, but I didn't understand with because I didn't get to put if I want to put in my home in my context, do I list it in context under home or do I list it under my name?
All right, who would like to help?
This is
share?
Brad.
Brad.
If you open your contacts, you should see your name up at the very top. And you tap on that and it has the same, places for information as any other contact, and you would enter it there.
Okay, and then when I'm using it, do I say find home or what would I do?
No, it knows that you're home. I think what the example was, you're telling Siri to go, take me home. And it knows that your home address. Try it and see. I haven't done that in a long, long time.
Okay.
But it should kick off the Maps app to start giving you, driving or walking or whatever. You've got the default set. You say, give me driving directions home, and it'll do it.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you feel uncomfortable about putting your physical home address, what I've done is I put our street name, but a different house number.
Oh. Okay.
Proximity to where I live, just not exact the address. If you feel uncomfortable doing that.
No, I
Right.
don't think. Yeah, that's interesting. It's Sharon. Sorry. So I
Uh-huh.
see, because I can see a little. It says my card. Is that where I fill it all in? Message, call, video. I don't know.
Yes, that's where it would be. It's at the very top of your contacts. And it'll say Sharon's, Sharon, and your information
Yeah.
will be there.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Yes, very good. And another helpful part about that, Sharon, if you fill those fields in, is sometimes if you're doing an autofill on a website, it'll ask you, do you want me to use your work address and work related stuff or home related, so it's pretty powerful. So it is important to fill out the information in your own contact card. It can make things easier. All right. Okay. All right. Who's next with the new question?
This is Dan.
Dan, go ahead.
Okay, I have a related question to that. Someone said that you could autofill your home address on a form. A lot of times when you're filling out a form on a website, they'll want your home address. So how do you autofill the home address?
All right. Great question, Dan. Who would like to help Dan out with autofill on a website with your home address?
This is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
The way I've done it is I will, when the information that I want, that I'm supposed to fill in shows up, I double tap on the edit button for that edit field so that you're able to write in what it's asking for. And then I move my finger slightly above the edit field until I find where it says autofill, and it's showing my information. If it's asking for my name, my first name, and it'll say autofill suggestion or something like that, and it'll give my first name. And if that's correct, I just double tap there, and then it'll go to the next field. Sometimes it'll go there automatically, and sometimes I have to swipe to the right to get it to go there. And the next field pops up, and you double tap to edit, go to the edit field, and you do the autofill again. It works really well, I find, for things like when you're registering for a Zoom event. I find oftentimes that autofill will work. And sometimes autofill will even work for forms that I'm filling out. And then there are times when it doesn't work, and I don't know what determines when it will and when it won't. Maybe somebody knows that, but I do use that.
All right. Yes, very powerful time-saving tool.
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
Sometimes when you're filling in, like she said, for a webinar like Zoom, or if you're doing a webinar and they just want your name and email. So I usually type my name because it's short, but on your email, if you type like the first few characters and then you go above the keyboard, and it might say other, and under other would have my email address. So you just click on other and it will fill in the email address.
Very good. Thank you, Marty. All right, Dan, hope that helps. So good luck. Good question there.
This is Keith.
Keith, go ahead.
Hey, you can also go into settings into Safari, and at the bottom of that first page, there's a button that says autofill. And if your contact card is not filled out, it will give you a chance, I believe, right there to fill out your name and some other stuff that you can use to autofill when you're using Safari.
Oh, like so across, like anytime you use Safari on it'll just have it there ready to go.
Right. Depending on any website that you're on in Safari, it will be ready to go. And like if you are using the onboard keyboard, a good place to look when you have it on, like the email field is just right above the keyboard will have the suggestions and with the next and the done buttons. And a lot of times if it's not there, if you start typing it out, if it's something that you've used before, sometimes it'll pop up there as well.
All right. And I just remembered, when you were speaking about when you're filling out the forms, don't forget to hit the submit button because, otherwise you have, you're not going to get any results. So, all right. Pretty obvious, but never hurts to say the obvious. Okay.
This is Keith.
Yes, sir.
Another good tip, if you cannot find the submit button, try to tap on something other than the text field so the keyboard disappears. And a lot of times the submit button, if you can't find it, it's under the keyboard. Or another thing you can do is go above the keyboard and find the done button. Usually if you go to the top, middle, and swipe to the right, that done button is there, or at the lower right hand corner where the search bar, sometimes they put the done button there. But if you type done, then you should be able to find the submit button.
Right. And while we're on forms here, another one I've always had trouble with is the checkbox that won't check. I've had that problem. Anybody, I think what I've had to do is, because I'm ready to submit, and then apparently I'm supposed to check a box and I'm hitting space or whatever, and it's not working. And I can't remember what I did. I think I may have turned off VoiceOver and tried to do it, but I've had that issue a couple of times. So
this is Keith.
Oh, okay. Terry and then Keith.
You just reminded me of something that I think they've finally fixed in on your phone. If you've been helped by AMAZON accessibility, and they send you a link and they want you to fill out the form to tell them how they did. The questions, I don't know, there's a whole series of questions, and you're supposed to check the box that is appropriate for the way you feel about that particular type of help you were given, or the thing that they did, was their English good, and there's a, disagree or strongly disagree and agree and whatever. So in the past, when I've double tapped on the box that I want to check, the checkbox doesn't ever change. And I have even tried turning VoiceOver off, and that didn't help. If anything, it caused more problems than it cured. But this last time I did it, it actually worked.
Okay,
and
well,
I've been complaining forever about that. So I hope it really is fixed on the phone and elsewhere.
Perfect. Thank you, Terry. And Keith?
A couple of things about the checkbox. A lot of times the things that you need to check, they'll put the description, like you need to accept these terms, checkbox, uncheck it. They'll put it at the end of the description. So a lot of times you're zooming through there and never hear checkbox. So like at the end of forms, if you see something like that that's telling you need to do something, let VoiceOver read that button, and a lot of times that's where the checkbox is. And just like Terry Ann, if you tap it and it does not check, I had one today where I tapped it and it didn't check, or I was trying to uncheck it because it was wanting to share my information with all the other Amazon apps or whatever, and it didn't do it at first, so I tapped it again. It didn't do it. I tapped it the third time, and finally it unchecked. And I think that, they're probably trying to do that so you give up and let it go. But, just try to double tap it. And if that doesn't work, if you're swiping to it, I've noticed a lot of this stuff, the focus, if you're swiping to it using, moving your focus with a swipe, a lot of times it will not engage and you have to physically go explore the screen until you find it and then tap on it.
Wow. Okay. Well, good tips there. Thank you, Keith and Terry-Ann. All right. So moving on to whoever has the next question, somebody who hasn't had a turn. We'd love to hear from you. Promise we don't bite on the second Monday. Maybe next Monday, but not this Monday. Anybody have a question?
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
I've already asked a question though, but
it's
I
all
got
right.
a
Go
real
ahead.
Question. Okay. I have been working with Keychain and letting it create my passwords and save them. Now, my issue is when I go in and it asks for my password, I don't know how to get that password account to fill that in for me automatically.
All right.
Who can help?
Who would like to help with Keychain? Anybody?
This is Brad.
Brad.
You should recognize when you go to the website, and if you double tap on the field for the user ID, you should receive a prompt that's down there above the keyboard that should ask you to autofill password, or maybe even the keyboard doesn't show up. There's just a bar down at the very bottom of the screen that says autofill for such and such. It says something, and you go, yeah, and double tap on it, and it'll fill in both the user ID and the password. And some of them even work for apps if I don't know if it's coded right. I'm not sure what causes it to, but some of them will work for the app as well.
Okay, this is Dee.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it is not above. See, I've seen that a few times. That has came up and said, I want it to autofill. Sometimes it doesn't. And I guess maybe I've been looking for it up above the UIO where you find other suggested things. Is that the wrong place to look
I've
for
never
that?
seen that. I've always seen autofill above the keyboard.
Well, that's right above
like, for
those
example, I use
letters.
Southwest Airlines. Apparently, I have 2 different logins, and I can pick my whichever way, and it works on the app and it works on the website.
Okay.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's basically where the text replacement on a keyboard is. That's where you typically find that it'll say your name. You want to use this for this password, but what I've seen it is where the replacement text on above the keyboard, like Brad was saying.
This is Brad.
That's
I
not
find it
above
right
the
above
UIO?
text replacement.
Okay, hold on. One at a time. Brad.
I find it right above text replacement. If they're both available, it might be there. Like when autofilling, that's where I find it. But usually if it's a password, like Sri said, it's just right there above the keyboard. And it'll say something to the effect of autofill for southwest.com or whatever, something like that.
Okay, and Dee seems to be saying she's looking somewhere else. Is that right, Dee?
Well, I'm looking right above the UIO. That's usually where it has, the text replacement, like if you misspell words and things. Or if
UIO, you mean the first letter of the keyboard. Okay. All right. Got it. I was like, what is a UIO? All right.
This is Brad. Yeah, that's
exactly right.
That's what
right?
I'm talking about, right above that
Okay.
top level.
I was like,
Okay.
okay.
All right. This is Dee. I've got one more.
Go ahead.
Here with it. Okay. Now, shouldn't it automatically reveal the password on the app as well as the website?
This is Brad.
Brad.
Not necessarily. Sometimes there's a button on some apps or websites to show password, and sometimes there's not. I find it usually fills in a bunch of asterisks. It'll say, autofill password 11 characters or something like that. And maybe there's a little button you can push to show the password, but Sometimes there's not.
Okay.
This is Sri.
Shri. Okay. Shri, then Marty. Shri.
I believe if Apple creates a password, I think it's 25 characters. So it should say it's 25 characters.
Okay. Marty.
Also, some websites will have remember my username or remember my login, and you
Right.
can check that.
Yeah. But I think it's the apps more that when they have asking for passwords that I'm kind of stumped on.
And also, do you use the touch ID or Face ID to log in? That
Face
way
ID?
Yes, like you have to turn that on in the app. Usually it will say use touch ID. It will prompt you if you want to use touch ID, and then if you click that you do, then anytime you log into the future on that website, it will log you in. Well, with the newer phones, it's Face ID, but like I have an iPhone 8, so it's Touch ID.
Right. This is Sandhya. So I would concur with Marty. I have like the Xfinity, like our home security. And, every time I log into the app, it just, does the Face ID automatically. So I'm finding that out on more apps actually. So yeah, definitely try to.
Yeah, I've got, several that do that too. But it's like if you let Keychain choose your password, it's a ridiculous thing. You're never going to remember all of those things.
No.
They are just.
That's why it's a hard password. Okay.
This is Keith.
Okay, Brad and Keith, then we're moving on. Go ahead, Brad.
You can find out what those are if you go into your settings and into passwords.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and you can look them up and find out what they are.
Yes. And then write them down and
just another big
and
pain
they're
in
not secure anymore. But
engrave them on your forehead. Okay, Keith, go ahead.
D, I think I know what the problem is. Most people have a QWERTY keyboard and you have a UIO keyboard.
Yeah, right.
UIO keyboard instead of a QWERTY keyboard.
I was like, what is that? It's like, is that a new URL? She said URL. Now, good job, Keith.
Right.
Good job. Yes. Very good, D. We are, you're awesome. Okay. All right.
Dana. Not as funny as Keith.
Oh no, nobody is. All right, go ahead, Dana.
Wild.
All right. Let's say you get this long email and
okay.
And you read most of it or some of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to stop and come back to it later and start again, not start over, but start again. Is there any way to bookmark where your place is and then come back to it later?
Okay, so you don't want to have to read the whole bad email again when you come back, right?
Correct.
All right. Anybody want to break the news to Dana? Or I don't know, anybody have any suggestions for how to resume in an email when it's a long, boring email and you don't want to read it all?
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
One of the things that you can do on the right-hand side where it has a vertical scroll bar and it gives like a percentage, just check what percentage you are in the email, like if you're 30 or 40%. And then when you come back to your email, because you'll probably end up back at the top, just scroll down to that percentage, 30% or 40%. Or the other way you could do it, it's just, how when you do the 3-finger swipe up and you just say like you're on page 4 of 19 or something like that. So you can do that. Go, just remember the page you were on.
Okay, yeah.
The way I know of.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Okay.
Right.
This is Jody.
Jody.
Yeah, whenever I join a Zoom call, my ID comes up as iPhone. Is there a way to customize that and change it to
Oh, what a
name.
great question. All right. Anybody
Yeah.
want to help Jody out? Anybody want to how to rename yourself in Zoom? And I know Mr. Shree has done a Zoom demo.
This is Terry.
Okay, go ahead, Terry.
I don't know if this is the way that Shri recommended because I don't remember what that was, but
Okay, we won't tell him. He's not listening, but go ahead, keep going.
Good.
Okay.
But the way I do it is before I join the meeting, I go to Zoom and I open it up and I can swipe all the way to the right and it'll tell me whether, oh, I think this is going to be different, whether my name is there or not. But what I'm referring to maybe isn't the same thing because you can't have two of the same that I know of the same devices logged on to Zoom at the same time.
Right. So she's trying to rename her device.
This is Marty.
Go ahead, Marty.
I think
sorry.
the way you can
It's
do
okay.
that,
Go ahead.
because the way you can do that, because I've done mine, it has like where it has like your name, like iPhone or whatever. I think there's a thing it says like edit nickname or something like that. And you can put by nickname it means like you can put like, you know, your name. Like I have Marty's iPhone or something like that. And once you put that in there, it's there for, you know, for all Zoom sessions.
Right.
So Jody,
and-
is it under settings?
Okay, hey, hang on. Yeah, so it's under settings, general, and about. And then it's like, I think the very first thing, it's like, you know, it'll say something and it's a text field and you can edit that. So
This is Marty. I thought I thought it's where like just before you join the meeting.
okay,
that's
well,
where I did
okay,
mine.
okay. Hold on. Shri, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically just double tap on the login email address of the Zoom and you go to settings. It'll say, you know, whatever your email address is. If you double tap that and below that is the screen name and you can just double tap and edit that and that'll be your screen name.
Okay. So I think so will that be permanent or not?
Yes.
Okay, so it's so there's more than one way, I guess, because the other way I've done is with where you rename the phone. Go ahead, Keith.
If you go under participants while you're on a call, you can have your permanent name, and if you want to be something else for that meeting, if you go under participants and find your name, double tap on that, and toward the bottom it has the button where you can rename yourself.
Just for that, Jody. That's just
for that
call,
meeting.
right? Okay.
Correct.
Right, and just be aware that some, depending on the settings of the host of the call, they can choose to not allow people to rename. So just be aware of that. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Thank you, Jody. All right. Who's next? New question. Somebody new hasn't had a turn. Helene, go ahead, Helene.
Okay. Well, I asked someone to send me a recipe and they did. And when I went to on an email and it said HTTP and I clicked on it and then it took me to a field that said, you know, join New York Times recipe or something. And I don't want to join. I just wanted to have the recipe read to me. Is there a way to avoid going in and doing something else?
Okay, well, first of all, what was the recipe for, Helene?
Oh, it's a great recipe. It's
quickly. What is it?
It's a Jerusalem cookbook. Adolengi is the last name of the chef, and he's written lots of books. Tomam Adolengi, and it's a chicken with clementines and fennel.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Before we get all, hungry and everything. Okay. So should anybody have any help for Helene and how to visit a website, but she doesn't want to subscribe?
This is Brad.
Brad.
Sounds like your friend sent you a link from the New York Times and they probably already subscribe. And unfortunately, the New York Times says you've got to subscribe to have access to that page. So I don't think there's a way.
All right. And I don't think there'd be well, I don't know if there's a charge or, well, I mean, you do have to pay, but sometimes they give you like a certain number of free things or tell your friend to copy it and send it to you as an email. That's the better way. Ask your friend to copy it into an email, not just the link. Just copy the actual recipe and put it in an email. That would help you a lot.
This is Shri.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Shri, go ahead.
Now, is it possible that they sent you the wrong URL? They actually, they didn't really go into the site where the recipe was, that link versus the homepage link to sign in?
Oh, okay. Well, this person is losing sight macula, and I haven't gotten her to come on the calls yet, so she may be confused as well.
Okay. Well, we'll be glad to help, and you can guide her along. So good job, Helene. That's awesome, and can't wait to hear more about the recipe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great questions. Who's next?
This is Shri.
Shri.
I would be more interested if she shares that food instead of sending us the recipe.
Right. That's true. All right. Linda, go ahead.
Speaking of recipes.
Yes.
A lot of times when I go on Facebook and I click on the recipe and it says it's advertising. It says this advertisement will last or end in 10 seconds or whatever.
Yes.
And it takes forever to get to the recipe. And I try to go up to the top and, click where to the left of the bar up there and to try to get it to do that just where it reads, what I want, but it's not there. Anybody have any recommendations?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So what I would do is I would actually have it open it in Safari, and then that way you can use the reader mode.
Oh, okay. Give that a try.
And also with Safari, you can download extensions and stuff like Firefox Focus, which help block ads as well that they try to do. And that will not work with like an internal browser like Facebook or Twitter. But if you actually open it in Safari, then that's what I would try with. And that's where I've had the most success with those kind of difficult sites.
Yes, they're most aggravating. Thank you.
Okay, this is something just to follow up on that one. I've done like similar to what, do a Google search and get a recipe, and then I not in Facebook, but just the same deal, the ads and stuff. So what would be the solution again, to just open it in Safari, Herbie?
Yeah, open it in Safari, and then you can activate the reader mode.
Okay, I'll try
Remember that little thing?
And
that helps. There are some sites that are just so ad heavy it won't work at all, but most of the time I think you'll find you'll have a lot easier time.
Really hard to navigate. Okay, good deal. Thank you. Okay, all right. Who's next? Somebody new, down to the last couple of minutes. Love to hear from you. You have a question? Somebody's about to ask a question. I know it. Just take your time. All right. Anybody else? I have a question actually. Has anybody noticed Facebook is always doing weird things? And I've noticed recently, I don't spend a lot of time on there, but that it's like launching people's videos automatically. Y'all see that? Anybody? It's kind of annoying.
This is Herbie.
Yes.
I've not noticed it while just browsing Facebook. I've definitely noticed it, like, say if you're already on one video and then you decide to swipe right to the next profile page and it kind of moves you to the next video. I've definitely noticed it in that context. However, I've been given to understand that for a non-voiceover user, Facebook actually has behaved this way for years, because I was surprised at, like, when we had some of these Facebook video controversies several years back, I was like, well, why do you even look at the video in the first place? And somebody told me, well, it just pops up as you're going along.
Oh, okay.
Kind of because, if it's a voiceover user, normally you actually have to open it and then
Right,
you can.
right.
So I think they're trying to put us more on par with what a sighted experience would be.
Okay, because I was like, what is going on? I don't want to hear all this, It's like Joe is sharing his video. And I'm like, I don't care. All right, okay, great. Okay, who's got the next question? New question? Even if you've already asked a question, you can ask a question.
This is Terry with
Go ahead.
a question and a tip. The tip is that when you're in Safari trying to read an article, you can go, sometimes if it's a recipe or whatever it is, you can go into format options and double tap there, and sometimes you can go to read only and it will then just skip the ads with voiceover turned on.
All right.
And then my question was a follow. Oh yeah, I can't always get the that bar on the right side to that percentage bar to work. To take me to a particular page or a particular percentage. What am I not doing, or what am I doing wrong? I'm not double tapping on it.
Right. Anything. Who would like to explain the scroll bar? Help Terry find her.
That's it.
Marty. You have to look for it, Terry. Sometimes it's kind of hidden. You have to scroll real slowly on the extreme right-hand side. It's a little below from the top, and it will say vertical scroll bar. And until you hear that, you cannot move that slider.
This is Terry.
Okay.
I find it, but I can't get it to work. Like I'll move my finger to 40% or 50%. And do I need to do something in order to actually get that my cursor to move to that percentage?
No, it should move unless there's something in settings that I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole, it should take you to that. You don't have to tap. You're just sliding it down. It'll say 40, 50, whatever, then you're there. I mean, it should be at that percentage of the document. So not sure. Okay. All right. Quick question. Anybody else have a quick question that they'd like to ask? Who's that?
This is Mo.
Mo, go ahead.
Okay, the question is about a question. If we have Apple TV questions, any recommendations of where we can get help other than, in addition to the Apple support? I've called Apple support 3 times and I still haven't been able to resolve the issue.
All right, well, maybe come back here next week a little earlier. We could maybe help you. Anybody else?
Question? Oh, this is Sri.
He's not telling us what the question is. He wants support for how to help set up his Apple TV. Is that it, Mo?
No, it's more complicated. But I'll bring it next week.
Yeah, bring it up next week. That'd be perfect. Or, we always have our Facebook. You can put it there. But come in a little, toward the beginning, and then we could try to help you out here. And that's a great idea. Okay.
To Apple TV. Thank you.
Oh, great. Exciting. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Linda.
I don't have a question, but I did call Apple Accessibility for the first time this week, and they were most helpful. She just told you what to do on your phone. Go here, go there, tap here, tap that. And she was just wonderful.
Yes, I agree. I mean, sometimes you have a really good experience, and sometimes some people have not been happy. So I agree with you. I've had pretty overall more favorable than unfavorable experiences. So, all righty. Thank you, Linda. Okay, well, let's see. With that, we will draw our meeting to a close and say thank you, Brad, for helping me facilitate. And
pleasure.
we will just recap of this week. Tomorrow is Clubhouse from 5 to 6, iBUG Mini Buzz. And then Thursday, the virtual Avila Book Club. And we're reading The Volunteer, and that'll be at 6:30 on this same Zoom conference line. Then on Friday, we'll be watching, we're going to be watching Annie Hall with Lobsters. And that will be at 8. That's not the title of the movie, it's just Annie Hall. And that'll be at 8 p.m. Central on this same Zoom conference line. Go and definitely check out our iBUG Cafe from yesterday about podcasting apps. Check out our information about our drawing. The drawing will actually be in May at our 11th anniversary celebration. Register on our website, and then you get all the notifications. Visit us on YouTube. And also our podcasts are going to be available, all our various calls in addition to the Buzz are going to be available, like our Mac and Talk, our Apple Workshop, App Cafe, and Android Insight. So those are, we are just setting all that up and it's all ready to go. So we encourage you to listen to any and all of those, join us on any and all of these events. And we appreciate your questions and participation. And we wish you a good week. Happy Easter. And we will see you next week. Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.